Well, I hope it's the final test recording. Hello, greetings and good day. I'm Iyas Shahin, representing Damascus University as an academic lecturer in the Faculty of Architecture. First of all, on behalf of me and Damascus University, I would like to send our regards to IUAV University in Venice for this invitation and for their kind concern. Right now, I'm giving this speech from Damascus, Syria, in which there is no doubt that it's Syria, because of what's happening, has become an urgent, rich, attracting and very important case study for all specialties, and especially us, architect planners and historians. And that's why we're talking about that, and Venice holding this conference. And of course, what's happening here is something I wish that no other place in the world would ever experience. In the beginning, and once when Sam told me about this conference, many thoughts and questions come across my mind, and I think a lot of you as well. This group of questions would help explore the reason behind the participation with this paperwork, this conference. And from my point of view, I might have every right to ask these questions. And it's very important to share these questions with you as well. Like, what is the real aim for this conference? What is the apparent and implied? Are we discussing reality or imaginary? Are we aiming for realism or idealism? Are we horizing or heading towards any implementation, putting things into practice? Are we qualified for reconstruction, or is it all right? Well, actually, these questions motivated me and also put me in between an important group of dualities that makes us face real challenges, like parent and content, motivation, benefit, reality, imaginary, questionable, doubtful, realism, idealism, theory, application. And according to these dualities, I'm going to present what I thought is appropriate about rebuilding after war, taking Damascus as an example. Notwithstanding, it's hard to look at this case from one specific and perhaps microscopic frame. In other words, the case study is going to be like in between these dualities. In this context, I'll present here a series of local architecture experiments with different and specific target groups in the Damascus community, in order to define our main role as an architect, urban planner, and what should we know and realize and what we need to be aware of. I point out here that those architecture experiments were in cooperation with many of local and governmental bodies. Mainly I'm referring to University of Damascus and IW Lab. Well, beginning with Moment, which started at the beginning of the crisis in Damascus. It was an urban exhibition for Sarouja, which is an old district outside the wall in Damascus, that aimed to raise awareness of the place, value and its real contents, to distinguish between the appearance and contents of the place, to realize and to be fully aware of the architectural heritage. We designed a livable experience that can do a mental network between people and place. What we wanted from Moment was to connect people with the place and to enhance the sense of belonging. It was a part of cultural participation project of heritage regeneration, aims to facilitate the participation of the local community through cultural activities that aim to identify the local heritage. This workshop was supported by Damascus Governorate. Right after that, like a year, we had Ma'bar. It's an Arabic word mean bath. It was an interactive participatory educational project for children in Damascus. This project aimed to raise the awareness about the heritage of Damascus by designing a field of thinking between reality and imaginary. Throughout Ma'bar, children will not be trained only to imagine, but to compare their imagination with reality. The approach of comparing their utopia and Damascus deserves to be a dream and a decision at the same time. After a year of moment and Ma'bar project, we did This Is My City. This Is My City, this is one of my best experiments. It was a multidisciplinary exchange workshop between Finland and Syria, based on illustrating the knowledge and the experience of exploring the built environment in the city. The workshop aimed to enhance and discover skills and tools of observing the surroundings in terms of the sense of the city. It was a participatory workshop based on the innate awareness of children to the built environment, enhancing this innate awareness through participation and direct communication. It aimed to distinguish realism and idealism in our lives, homes, and in our city. After these experiences with the local community, it was necessary to rehabilitate ourselves. Like me and the student of architecture, any Syrian architects who claim knowledge that we have to change by achieving knowledge and perceiving change that happens in the community and time and ourselves as a group that, as I said, that claims knowledge. And this is the full story of the experiments. Like it happened in 2014. We ran a dual workshop in Damascus and Copenhagen for professionals and students in both countries. The goal of this workshop was both to apprehend how people currently related to open spaces, as well as start a discussion about the methods and tools architects could develop to help in shaping better conditions in this context. The workshop Post Change Syria, this is the name, addressed the changes of spaces during conflicts and the effect of changes in human behavior. The workshop aimed to visually illustrate how architecture students in Faculty of Architecture were living in the city of Damascus. Well, after that, and for the following 2 years, within the Faculty of Architecture, we proposed several community-required topics: future housing, transitional housing, emergency shelters. These initiatives have had to be motivated by change for better life and achieving the benefits of participation, hoping a better future. All that it's about being aware of our efficient role as an architect or planners. We could benefit a lot from these local academic participation experiments, and a lot can be concluded. And this conclusion might be agree with and also emphasize the viewpoints of other students of other studies in this field like John Turner, Freiberg, but only the importance of these experiments which I already presented come from the duality that we previously talked about and also its locality. And now, academically or from an academic perspective, if we put these experiments and if we compare between these experiments through analysis and definition of their actors, factors, and goals, in conclusion, I can say that participation in all of its definitions can be quite real in one group and also can be fair between those who have the power and those who don't, or between those who have knowledge or those who don't, or between the majority or the minority. For that reason, we are looking for participation, employment, stability, and balance among the actors. The actors that we are dealing with in this experiments. The community of knowledge, I mean me, architects, planners, and the community of future, the children, the community of power, authority, politics, money, and community of present, the local people. And for that we found ourselves not as not as a community of knowledge, decision makers, or planners, or even designers. We found ourselves as mediators, organizers, coordinators, accelerators, and supporters. In other words, main tools in the system. And the process of this system must be balanced and stable among the actors in the reconstruction. Nowadays, architecture urban planning is nothing must be more. It must be more than just designing open containers that contain human being, which unlike what architecture should do here, as organizing tissue of social relationships pulled in conflict or of different cultures. And when we call for a new urbanism and reconstruction like here, only as a action of filling the gap and the needs, it will lead us to repeat the same past mistake by focusing on spatial forms more than social techniques or methods, focusing on spaces, not on people living these spaces. Architectural and planning methods should be based on dialogue among different groups, which requires open communicative planning methods, which aim to reconnect and managing this coexistence, living peacefully together to maintain the balance. We must be concerned about many factors in order to facilitate the process of obtaining a general agreement. Local knowledge, or knowledge that people have developed over time and continue to develop that based on experience, the common understanding and mutual trust and identity creation. But the question is still how. Here I would share favorite studies, which, like he said that rationality, wisdom. The practice of planning should be based on three levels of knowledge: scientific, technical, and rational knowledge, all of which aims to recognize what we should be doing in specific circumstances and under certain special conditions, which is not subject to any generalization at all. Another factors, the power. The opinion of the group which own the power is dominant during the process of implementation of the schemes, where there is a huge difference between theory and practice. In other words, the power of words is come from the power of speakers. Finally, I would say that the fundamental question was always built around focusing on how to ensure the quality of urban life and to improve its level under these conditions. Last but not least, I'm going to finish in Arabic, and I hope Wissam can translate it to you. بتشكر كتير الدعوة اللي قدمت من جامعة فينيسيا لحضور هالمؤتمر. هذا الشيء بدل على اهتمامهم بالموضوع، كونهم اهتموا بأنه يكون في حدا من جوا سوريا عم يحكي بهالموضوع اللي هو إعادة الإعمار بعد الحرب سوريا بشكل غير مقصود، أو يعني ما كان مخطط له. الشيء اللي عم بحكي عليه أنا اللي هو موضوع التشاركية والناس سوريين نفسه هو اللي حكى عنه سابقا يمكن زميلي فراس والدكتور عقيلي. طبعا فراس والدكتور عقيلي حكوا عن الموضوع بجانبه الكمي خليني أقول وتأثيره. هون عم احكي كتير على أهميتهم بالمكان. أهمية المكان هو بتواجد هدول العالم. كتير أخبار حلوة مثلا طلعت مؤخرا اللي هو تحرير تدمر، وكتير في اهتمام حول إعادة أعمارها بكتير دول بكتير مؤتمرات. بس الفكرة إذا يعني ما حدا أخذ بعين الاعتبار موضوع مين اللي رح يسكن هنيك. ما عاد في عالم هنيك، اللي رح يعيشوا هنيك مين؟ هاد سؤال بيرتبط بنتيجة رقمية كمان يمكن حكى عنها فراس، اللي هو إنه من بين كل 3 سوريين في 2 بقيوا بمحلهم و1 تغير محله. هاي يعني رقم مؤشر كتير كبير ومهم لازم يتاخد بعين الاعتبار. كتير مهم الاستدامة وكتير مهم المواد البناء بس انه هاي الحقيقة انه بين كل 3 في حدا اما تغير موضعه او راح او غاب. بتشكر استماعكم، بتمنى ما أكون طولت ووصلت الرسالة اللي من خلال هالعرض هاد اللي هو بأكد على موضوع التطبيق تزامنا مع الحكي النظري. وشكرا.